page. So, hey, folks, we are here today, and I'll tell you who we are in just a second, but to announce a new page at the Impact Nations website. By the way, if you haven't seen our new website yet, we launched a new website, I don't know, what was that, Isaiah, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and
Yeah,
we're
just
real
over a
proud
month.
of it, and it's a great place to just check out all the things that are going on in the Impact Nations world. But anyway, there's a new page on the new website called Family, and it is just impactnations.com/family, and we're here today just to tell you a little bit about what that's all about and why we're doing that and stuff like that. Before I get into that stuff, I just wanted to introduce you to the other two fellows on this call. I think it's my left. I think it gets confusing with the mirroring and stuff,
I'm over
but
there. Yeah.
I believe you're on my left. Is Isaiah? Isaiah Sturley
Oh,
is.
I'm
Uh,
right here.
oh, see, there you go. On my screen, it's on the left. I guess everybody's
Okay.
screen is a bit different, but my screen's the one that our friends out in the interwebs can see. So my screen's the
Oh,
only
well,
one that
mine it's on the
counts.
other left.
The
Ay,
other.
yay, yay.
um, hey, no coughing, okay. So,
Yeah, I got a tickle. Honest, it's just a tickle in my throat.
wow, this is going off the rails already. What was I saying? Oh, Isaiah is here. Hello, Isaiah.
Hi.
Isaiah Sturley is one of the very valuable Impact Nation staff members. He's kind of my wingman, I think, is how I described you when I first hired you a year ago, and
Yeah.
that has turned out beautifully. You're the goose to my Maverick, which is probably a reference that's a little before your time, but
No, very
oh.
important reference in my life.
There you go.
Yes.
Perfect. So, welcome, Isaiah, to our conversation, and
Thank you.
we'll get you to tell us a little bit about your role in this new endeavor here in just a minute. And then
Sure.
below me is Dad. I call him Dad. You can call him Steve. Steve Stewart, the founder and president of Impact Nations. Welcome, Dad.
Thank you. Good to be part of this inaugural effort here.
Indeed. So here's the deal, folks. I don't know if you noticed, but the world's kind of turned upside down in the last few weeks. It's a little different than it was when we started the month of March. Honestly, everything's changed, and so at Impact Nations, our mission is to rescue lives with a really big gospel, and we do that in a number of ways through meeting the immediate needs of people through medicine and clean water and food, and then working on long-term sustainability and economic growth for those who haven't had those opportunities through skills and business development. And then we also just take teams from around the world into our target nations to go and minister the gospel of Jesus Christ to people. And we're not able to do that right now. Actually, we just wrapped up our what is going to be our last journey of compassion for a while to India, and that team, by God's grace, all got home just over this weekend. So we're asking ourselves right now, what does it look like for Impact Nations? But one thing we know for sure is that we need each other, which means we need you more than ever before. We need the Impact Nations family. And I suspect you're in the same boat. You need regular encouragement from your fellow brothers and sisters. You just need regular communication. All of us are hunkered down in our homes. And aren't able to leave and interact. Small groups and churches are shut down and all those things. So we're looking for ways at Impact Nations to be able to encourage one another, to be encouraged by you. And so we are trying something new, which is this new family page. So Isaiah, I wonder if you could just kind of give a little bit of a brief description of what the impactnations.com/family page is going to how it's going to function, what it's for.
Sure. So it is for the family and everybody around the world to be able to connect in one place and know, hey, I wonder what's going on at Impact Nations. Impactnations.com/family. That's where the information is going to be. Like, I just know it. It's easy. That's where I go. So we're going to put a lot of stuff up there. We're going to put this live stream will become just a video that'll be embedded there. In fact, you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, it's amazing in this day and age. We can stream live to Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. Everybody gets to see it. But if you don't want to see it there, go to impactnations.com/family and you can watch us live there right now as well. So all of our content is going to be there. And then at the end of live videos, occasionally, and maybe even regularly, we'll see how everything goes. We'll open up this conversation or the next conversation, whichever one it is. And others from around the world, you guys can join us on the conversation live. And we can hang out and chat, and you can watch others interacting on impactnations.com/family on the video live stream. You can jump in. It's just an amazing way in this new age of technology for us to interact and still be together while being separated.
Yeah. And our friend Trinity, I was just going to say, our friend Trinity, who actually his team designed the website that you may be visiting right at this very moment. He sent us a lovely email last week, and his sign off at the end just it really touched me, which was, "Let's be alone together." And so actually we put that in the heading of this page because
I love that.
Yeah, I mean we need to be alone to keep each other safe, to reduce the spread, to flatten the curve, as everyone's saying. But let's make sure we're doing it together, and this is a great way to do that. Right. Thanks, Isaiah. So, Dad, what kind of content are people going to find on this page?
Well, lots, but right from the beginning, from the get-go, this afternoon, we're going to interview Steve Sjogren. And what time are we doing that one?
That'll be at 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Yeah.
Mountain Daylight Time, 2 p.m. Steve is an interesting man. I've known him for over 30 years. I saw a list last year of the most influential churches in the world in all of the 20th century, and his church was number 15. I mean, there were churches like Bethel and like Hillsong and like Young Cho's church. Steve coined a phrase many, many years ago, servant evangelism. And it is something that has revolutionized many, many congregations. I certainly embraced it with the churches we planted, and by God's grace, the churches grew and grew and grew, and they grew with people from the community, not church transfers. So that was very exciting. So Steve and I have really been connecting over the last year. He was about to launch a kindness tour, make kindness great again, and he got shut down too. However, he's written, I think, a dozen books. His books have sold massively, over 500,000 copies, which is huge in the Christian world. And he's right now doing sharing and doing consulting and helping us to see how we can meaningfully touch our neighbors, even in a time of social distancing. So he is very, very interesting fellow. And so that's the first bit of content. The second one is that many of you know that I do a podcast, and the kind of the raw form of that is a Facebook live that I've been doing, I think, 2.5 or more years. And I started last week on a new series on the Beatitudes. And but for the first time, I didn't have my house full of people. So I had to just talk to the living room and Christina. And but we got this same idea the other day that I want to invite everybody, and we do have people from the UK and from India and from Australia. I'm very surprised, but it's wonderful. People from all over the world come on. The big change this week, and Isaiah and Tim have made this work, is that at the end of my teaching, we will have this format here for people to ask questions. But beyond that, most folks don't know that when I go off the air, my house, which is full of people, we go into a time of prayer, responsive psalms, reading one of the creeds, worship, ministering to each other, and discussion on what I'm teaching. So we're going to do that. I'm looking forward to taking communion together all over the
Mm.
world. And so that'll be tomorrow night at 7:30 Mountain Daylight Time. And I really would encourage you with that. The third thing from my contribution, because suddenly, like all of us, I find myself with a lot more time to focus. I'm just working on another ebook, which should be out later this week, really on the power of Sabbath, Sabbath rest, Sabbath as a prophetic declaration, and we'll put that up on on the website for people to be able to get hold of that as well. So that's what's going on for me this week.
Awesome.
Let me ask, you mentioned communion. Are you going to be leading this community in communion tomorrow evening?
Well, someone will. Yes.
Great. Okay, so
So
people
I'm going to
should
really
come prepared.
encourage people to come prepared with the bread and the wine, and they may want to have their friends. Oh no, they won't. I was going to say come join them.
No.
Boy, I'm a slow adapter. But we can globally have communion
But
together.
but to your point about inviting their friends, actually, this is an opportunity for us to do exactly that. Um, we're trying something new. I should say, by the way, we're holding all these things very loosely.
Mhm.
We don't know how this is all going to work, and we're gonna tweak things, and we would really welcome your feedback as well. So shoot us an email or write a note to us or whatever. But we're going to try this, inviting everybody into the Zoom thing. And we're going to try it on a couple different levels. One thing we're going to do is, as Dad alluded to, after his teaching tomorrow, we're actually going to basically broadcast the Zoom invite. So it's just a simple URL that you can join in and become a part of the conversation. And if that's something that you want to share with your friends, we would welcome that, so that they can actually take communion with you. So you can, when you receive that link, you can then share that link with somebody and say, "Hey, we're gathering together, and this is going to be great." In fact, I would encourage you share even this URL, impactnations.com/family, so that they could watch at that time tomorrow night, see the teaching and stuff, and then they can even be better ready to engage in the questions and worship time afterwards.
That's great.
Well, and they can even jump in with comments during the teaching.
Yeah, because there's a chat on the lower right.
Indeed.
Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. You want to talk about that real quick, Isaiah?
Oh, sure. Just very briefly. When you're at impactnations.com/family, if you look down in the lower right corner, there's a little thing that says C box, open C box. You open that and there's a chat there. And so we can discuss with each other as Steve is teaching, "Hey, I was thinking about this. What does it have to do with what Steve's saying?" And he may even jump in with some responses to that at the end of the video. So please join us in that relationship.
Yeah.
As well.
We would love to
Chat
interact
box.
with you there. The reason.
Last week.
Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. We're learning to not talk over each other
Yeah.
in this format. Last week, I did the introduction to the Beatitudes, and it's on our Facebook page.
It's
I
on
don't know if-
/family as well. Yeah.
Oh, we've got it there.
Oh, yeah.
So if
Mhm.
people want to look at that before tomorrow night to just give them some context, I'm going to be teaching on the absolute key to the Sermon on the Mount, which is blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And what's fascinating to me is that the church fathers began writing about this within a decade or two after the death of the Apostle John, that this has been, there is a historical richness and depth to understanding this beatitude. So I'm pretty excited about it, because I know essentially the whole Sermon on the Mount is built on this one verse in Matthew 5:3.
I'm really, really excited about the teaching, and then that time to gather together afterwards. So just a couple things. We did the chat there on our webpage, impactnations.com/family. You'll get tired of hearing me say that URL. But we put the chat there only because it's a spot where you don't have to be logged into Google with YouTube or into Facebook. There are some who are not Facebook users and things like that. So we wanted to make it accessible for everybody, and to have this kind of one centralized place. So, I would encourage you, even give it a try this afternoon as we do our first gathering with Steve Sjogren. If you got questions you want us to ask right then and there, go ahead and type them in right there.
And then are we going to open up the Zoom chat this afternoon?
We are, yeah. And that was what I was going to touch on next. So I think what we're going to do, and again, we're improvising as we go here, folks, so have fun improvising with us. But I think what we're going to try this afternoon when we're spending time with Steve Sjogren, what I want to do is actually try broadcasting. So we'll stay on Facebook Live, we'll stay on YouTube, we'll stay broadcasting live wherever you're watching from. But we're going to share out that URL. We'll probably put it on the website, impactnations.com/family, so that you can go there, click that, and then suddenly you'll be in the conversation. You'll be one of the boxes on our screen here, and you'll be able to interact live with Steve if you've got questions for either of the two Steves. And, I think we'll just see how many people join us and stuff. It'll just be fun to be able to have you interact with us directly in that way. So I think we're going to try it two different ways. We're going to keep that one broadcasting live so that people can still see that there's something going on and then join the conversation if they want. Whereas tomorrow night, I think it'll be a bit more of an intimate gathering in that we will not be broadcasting the second portion of the evening live, but rather the invite will be there for you to click on that link or share that with friends and stuff like that to be able to join that. But it won't be broadcast to the entire globe. I hope that makes sense. But
so you can still get on tomorrow and join the conversation.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just that everybody on Facebook won't be seeing.
They won't be able to see you. Yeah. Just I feel like tomorrow may be a more of an intimate time that we don't necessarily want to broadcast. So we'll obviously, as always, we'll be broadcasting Dad's teaching, but then that time of fellowship afterwards will probably not. Having said that, we may record it and keep snippets. If there's questions, follow-up questions and stuff like that have value, we may rebroadcast those at a later time. I think the only other thing I wanted to say was I'm really looking forward to having engagement with our partners and various Impact Nations leaders. So those who listen to our audio podcast, by the way, different URL, impactnations.com/podcast. You can subscribe to the Impact Nations podcast. In season 2, back in the summer of 2019, we did kind of I don't know what you'd call it, just an interesting little series where we were discussing with our partners what they do. So we were meeting with, Randeep and Annabelle and Mike Brown, lots of partners from around the world. We also got to meet with some of the board members and staff of Impact Nations and hear their stories and stuff. What I want to do in this season is invite those guests back and more, perhaps, even some of our Journey of Compassion leaders and things like that, and invite them on to a discussion that, same thing, we can open up and invite others to come in. And if you missed out on getting to go to India and be with Randeep earlier this month, maybe you can still spend some time with Randeep and hang out with him on Zoom.
And that would mean including an opportunity to interact with him, right? To ask questions.
That's exactly what I mean.
Forth?
Yeah, in the same way you just asked me a question.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. So same thing. We'll be sharing a Zoom link and inviting people in just to hang out with us for an hour. Now, here's the thing. This serves a couple of purposes. I believe that the Lord has something for us in this season. He's got work for us to do. I don't know what that work looks like yet, folks. Be praying for us. I know you are, so that we get just a revelation of what the Lord has for us to do. We are about rescuing lives, and my prayer always, as you know, is, Lord, just give us more lives to rescue. And right now, at this very moment on March 23rd, 2020, it's really hard to know how we're going to do that because, the medical professionals in our network are already busy doing the care for those in their own community and things like that. International travel is restricted. All of these things, people, even our partners who would normally be equipping others, are stuck in their homes. But I know that someday soon the Lord's going to make it clear what role we have to play. But in the meantime, I believe we can serve two functions. We can be a community of believers who are encouraging one another in the faith. This is a time that the enemy, I'm telling you this right now, the enemy will seek to steal, kill, and destroy right now through isolation. He will tell you that you have no purpose because there's nothing you can do. He will tell you there's nobody that cares for you and you're all by yourself. And I'm telling you right now, that's a lie. We're here. We care for you. Your friends and family care for you. And we're just looking for a way to provide a platform to do that. So we're here to continue to engage you. And by the way, I firmly believe that the Lord's going to share things with you, and you're going to be able to come into these Zoom chats and download those things to us because the Lord's sharing something with you. This is a time for the prophetic voice in each of us to be unleashed in a way that we've not seen before. Secondly, this is a time of equipping. We don't need to just sit at the sidelines and wait and do nothing. We can sit and equip ourselves so that when that gun fires off and the race begins, we are ready to go. And so this ebook that Dad is releasing right now, and we'll re-release the ebooks he's done in the past, the teaching that he's going to be doing on Tuesday nights, the time where you'll get to come and listen to the Randeeps and the Mike Browns, the Annabelles, as they teach Mum. We'll get Mum on here and she'll do some teaching. Like, we will be equipping one another for ministry in this season. I'm telling you, we have a job to do, and we don't know when that job is going to start, but it's coming, and we've got to be ready. And so I want this to be a place of equipping. So check in often. I wish I could tell you exactly what our schedule is going to be for broadcasting and stuff, but just make it a habit. Start your day at impactnations.com/family and see if there's something new on there. We'll just type up some quick announcements of what's coming, things like that. So, and don't be strangers.
And we'll keep people. We'll keep people updated on Facebook too, and say,
Absolutely.
Hey, this afternoon, 2:00, hang out with us.
You bet. Yeah. And write us a note on that chat box. Send me an email. You can write us at info@impactnations.com. If there's a way we can be praying for you, write us. We want to engage with you. We want to build this family. We want to see the Impact Nations family grow in this season. So let's all stay engaged. Yeah. So that's what we're all about. Do you guys have any last words before we sign off?
Hopefully we'll see some of you in 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Exactly. We'll see you then, guys.
Yeah,
can't wait.
We've got quite a few people on Facebook. We've got 8 people on Facebook Live right now. So come back.
Come back.
Come join us again in a couple
hours. I know your schedule is clear. All right, guys. God bless you.
Bye.